so hard in the sports world to beat the same team in a confines of a playoff context, right? It's so hard to
Hmm.
beat the same team twice. And at this point, Alabama has already beaten UCLA once. If UCLA gets past Texas Tech, I think Alabama is going to have their hands full with
Yeah,
UCLA.
they're just. You're right. That momentum has really started shifting for them.
Yep.
It's
But I
going to
do
be hard to
see,
stop them today.
yeah,
But
I do
Texas
see.
Tech, I really feel it's going to be a high scoring game. So you're thinking 10-8, and you see the Texas Tech losing to UCLA tonight,
Yeah, I
Kevin?
think I think UCLA pulls that off.
Okay.
And then
I would like
UCLA.
to. I would like UCLA. I've always wanted them, on the West Coast. I've always been a fan because of basketball, because they are also royalty with John Wooden and what the Bruins do on the basketball court. But yeah, the lady softball team, I do believe you're right. I think they're going to win. I hope it's a 10-8 game with a lot of home runs. Uh, but yes, it'll be a good one to watch if you're looking on the dial what to watch tonight.
Yep. So I see the championship series, which is going to take place on the third, fourth, and the fifth next Wednesday, Thursday,
Yes.
Friday. If a Friday game, if necessary, it's a 3 game series. I think that's going to be Texas and then
Bruins.
Alabama. I think
Oh,
Alabama pulls it off. Alabama is
Alabama
just
wins.
too
Okay,
strong. So it's
from that
probably
bracket.
I'm looking at an all SEC finals, and it's looking like, look, Tennessee's
It's
already
like
sitting
that in
there.
a lot of different sports.
It is. Look, the SEC has started to. They used to be a football powerhouse, but they're
They're
starting to
all
become a
around now. Yes,
sports
sir.
powerhouse now.
I
All
guess
right.
they got Oklahoma and Texas in the league.
Yep. So that is softball. Let's swivel the spotlight over just a tad, just a little bit.
Evans pulls
Oh,
it
yeah.
on a line to left and gone.
Gone indeed. Man, something about that aluminum bat ping of hitting the ball right on the barrel. Oh my goodness. I love, love, love college baseball. Always have. All those years ago, let's not talk about how many years, all those years ago when I went to Mississippi State, and baseball was king on that court, long
I'm
on
sure.
that campus. Long history of Ron Polk coaching, players like Rafael Palmero, Bobby Thigpen, Will the Thrill Clark, back in the 80s, right? All those players and the pedigree and the history that the Bulldogs have. It's a baseball is a religion on that campus. You talk about Rock Chalk Jayhawk, right? Uh, you know what basketball is on the campus of KU? That's what baseball is. And I understand football is king in the South. It is, but baseball is that religion, largely because they've also had success historically over the past 40, 50 years in that sport, culminating in that World Series championship 4 years ago. And boy, they're back. The MSU Diamond Dogs is what we call them. They are back. They are back. They are hosting a regional, and they have won their first 2 games in the Starkville Regional and won them pretty convincingly. They beat Lipscomb 10-1, and Cincinnati had their own a beatdown of Louisiana 12-2 to come into that matchup against Mississippi State, only to have Mississippi State hang another 10 on Cincinnati, winning that one 10-5. So um, Louisiana was able to win the elimination game against Lipscomb to get into an elimination game now between Cincy and Louisiana. And the winner of that will go up against Mississippi State. And the way that happens is, remember, in these regional, uh, it is a double elimination game. So on the strength of the first 2 wins by Mississippi State, they're sitting there. They need to win one of these 2 games to win the regional, because everybody else will be coming in. The winner between Cincy and Louisiana, whoever wins will go into that game against Mississippi State, but they will have one loss. So even if they beat Mississippi State gets a second crack at them. So the championship game is today, and it is going to be a tired team. So Cincinnati, Louisiana play at 3 p.m. Eastern, so 2 p.m. Central, and the winner of that at 8 p.m. Eastern will have to play against Mississippi State. And if they beat Mississippi State, then tomorrow there's another chance for Mississippi State, winner take all, to win the regional. That's the Starkville regional. All right. Now, what I want to talk about is, well, first, if I can figure out how to get out of this, here we go. All righty. Let's talk about the KU, the Lawrence regional for you,
Yes.
my friend. This
No.
is definitely a surprise, right?
Yeah.
What KU? Why is this
It's been
thing
a
not
great season. We're a
working for
basketball
me?
school, but right now, as a fan of the sport, any sport team, as a Jayhawk, I'm really excited to see how the Kansas baseball team, man, that win against Arkansas yesterday was just a great victory. A Rock Top Jayhawks. It's not basketball season yet. Right now, let's tune into the men's baseball team. What a great season we're having.
Absolutely, absolutely. Also, sitting just like, let me see if I can. This thing is giving me a little bit of trouble. Uh, Still won't let me. There we go. All right, here's the Lawrence Regional. So same thing as Mississippi State. Not in as dominating fashion, but it doesn't matter. A W is a W, right? They've won two straight. They beat Northeastern 6-3, and
And
then
we
they beat.
haven't hosted a game in Lawrence in a while, man.
Oh,
So it was great for the fans. Even though the weather's been raining a lot and storms here, we definitely had a good turnout because a lot of students over there in that town in Lawrence, they'll support the Jayhawks whatever the sport is. So this was a great winning thing from us yesterday.
yep. So same thing here, right? Kansas is sitting pretty. Their game is at 6 Eastern, so you're probably going to want to check it out later today. They're sitting there with 2 wins, waiting for the carnage, right? So Arkansas and Northeastern both now have a loss, so they're going to play coming up very quickly in about 40 minutes. Arkansas and Northeastern get start playing, and the winner of that, these games take about 2.5 hours to complete. So they start at noon, they finish around 2:30, and they will have about a couple of hours of rest, and then we'll have to turn around and play a rested KU Jayhawk team. And if they somehow are able to beat Kansas, then tomorrow there will be a winner take all game for this regional. Uh, Manny, my friend, I hope for you that KU does win their regional and move on to a super regional. That's going to be exciting times. What
Big time.
else has taken place here? UCLA, the aforementioned UCLA Bruins. We talked about them in the context of softball. Well, it wasn't long ago. We talked about it right here because UCLA and Mississippi State were playing at a tournament right here at the what do we call it now? The Rangers Stadium,
Oh,
Globe Life Park.
yeah.
About 3 months ago, where we talked about it here, and then me and a couple of my brothers, we went and watched that game, and it was a hard-fought game. Went into extra innings, and UCLA won that. UCLA
Man,
has been.
that was a crazy game. Yes,
It
yesterday.
was.
So
So UCLA has been hovering around the first overall seed all season. They were number one at that point. Mississippi State was 3, and things would have flipped if Mississippi State had beaten them. But UCLA stayed at number one, and pretty much the whole season they've hovered in that top 2-3 range. And they came in as the first overall seed here.
yeah.
But right off the bat, St. Mary's of California beats them in a
Right.
low-scoring game, 3-2, causing them to go to the elimination bracket. And there, they actually struggled against Virginia Tech, barely eked out a win, 6-5. And now there's a rematch of St. Mary's UCLA, um, uh, and the winner of that will actually play against Cal Poly, who has dominated their first 2 games. This is a very California-centric Los Angeles regional for UCLA. Not really home field advantage because Cal Poly has a big footprint. St. Mary's is in California. They've got a good, big footprint. The only team that was kind of out of sorts in this regional was Virginia Tech, having to go all the way west to play, and they have been eliminated. So it is an all California, all Los Angeles regional, and I think Cal Poly is kind of sitting pretty, even though they weren't supposed to get here, but they're sitting there waiting for the winner of St. Mary's and UCLA. And all they have to do is win one game to win this regional. I think that's going to be crazy, crazy times for sure. So that is the Los Angeles regional that kind of sticks out. What else? Kentucky has surprised West Virginia in the Morgantown regional. So West Virginia is sitting at a loss, playing it out against Wake Forest, and Kentucky is awaiting them. The big surprise, the big one, is actually the Hattiesburg regional. So Hattiesburg, Mississippi is where Southern Miss is. And Southern Miss had been hovering around in the top 10 all season, man. They've looked good. Mississippi State had a couple of really big wins against them, but Southern Miss showed up all season, except when it mattered, except when the chips were down. Man, they lost that first game at home. Little Rock, little town, little school, little town, Little Rock beats Southern Miss 7-4. And then in the elimination game, what a game between Virginia and Southern Miss. So Virginia lost their match. I mean, there's like no pitching with Virginia. Virginia lost their game against Jacksonville State 15-7.
Oh my gosh.
15-7, they lost that. So they get into the elimination game against the regional hosts, Southern Miss, after that surprising loss to Little Rock. And they actually beat the tar out of them. Virginia scores 15 against Southern Miss. And Southern Miss scored 11 of their own, but not enough. Southern Miss is out of their own hometown. Now they have to sit at home, watch the tiny school of Little Rock. And wouldn't it be great if Jacksonville State, which is also a small, and HBCU, a small school, if they beat Virginia, it's going to be Little Rock and Jacksonville State playing to move on from this regional, to move into the final 16 in the nation, into a super regional, one of these small schools. I'm going to be pulling for Jacksonville State against Virginia just because of that, because I want one of these small schools to be guaranteed a regional win between Little Rock and Jacksonville State. That is a big one. Big one. Florida is dominating the Gainesville regional. No surprise there. UNC is dominating the Chapel Hill, and they actually eliminated Tennessee. Tennessee is out. A&M is dominating theirs. And in Lincoln, Nebraska, the Nebraska regional, we're sitting at this one is a little surprising. So I think you're sorry about that. Got a frog in my throat. You mentioned the weather up in Lawrence. I think that weather is extending up into Lincoln as well. Lincoln is not too far away. Just
not too far.
How do they say it out in the country? They're within spitting distance, right? So there was some weather out there. So Nebraska did win their first match 4-1. Ole Miss won theirs against Arizona State 7-6, and they had this game going yesterday, which got suspended. So they're going to be picking that up pretty soon here, because Ole Miss was leading 6-3 against Nebraska when that game was suspended. And if Ole Miss beats them, they're going to be sitting in that spot of waiting for the carnage to settle, to have a easy-ish road to the regional championships. But Nebraska will have something to say about that when this game resumes. Arizona State has eliminated South Dakota State 17-0 and is waiting in that elimination game for the loser between Ole Miss and Nebraska. So this one is a little surprising what Ole Miss has done so far, but we'll see how the once the game resumes, how that goes. Oh, what else? What else? Auburn. Auburn is struggling, man. All these small schools. So Auburn was hosting a regional against the UCF. UCF is the Dragons, right? Or is that the Golden Knights?
Golden Knights.
I think the USF or the South Florida are the Dragons. UCF is the Golden Knights. So UCF, NC State, and Milwaukee. NC State has been eliminated, but Milwaukee is sitting there at 2 victories waiting for the carnage. I mean, this is so surprising. Milwaukee has been they destroyed Auburn 13-8. 13-8. They beat the hosts, and then only to turn around and beat UCF, who also in their own right hung 9 on NC State, but Milwaukee destroyed them with 13 more runs. So Milwaukee really coming through. And it's going to be interesting. Auburn and NC State locked down in a football game. 17-13 was the final. 17-13 in this game. But Auburn now plays UCF for the elimination game, and then the winner of that gets to play the undefeated Milwaukee. Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving all these small schools coming through. What else we got?
The Texas game. Texas State versus the USC elimination game set, I think, today.
Texas State and USC.
Yeah.
I'm looking.
This is out of the where is this? College Station Regional.
Oh,
Game 5.
Yeah. Texas State is playing out there. So look, A&M has just been dominating this, right? They're sitting pretty in that. They won 7-5 against Lamar, and then just absolutely destroyed Texas Tech 17-2.
Yeah, they'll play the winner at 9:00.
They will. That will be tonight. But Texas State and Southern Cal. So look, I think normally I would say Texas State. They've already beaten Southern Cal once, 5-4. It was tight.
I mean,
but
it's a 3 versus 2 game. So yeah, you just take a pick.
It could go either way.
Fairly matched.
I think Southern California is going to be able to pull it off. It's about how they're coming in here, right? Texas Tech off the heels of a 17-2 drubbing to A&M, and South Carolina administering a drubbing of their own on Lamar 19-6. So I think they're coming in with confidence. They lost a closely contested match against a game against Texas State. So I think they've got more confidence. Texas State is beaten down by A&M. They really got deep into their bullpen. That's going to be a factor. So I think Southern Cal wins this one and goes up against A&M, and A&M probably wins that fairly easily. So A&M is probably on an easy path to the super regionals here. But what we are on an easy path to is a break coming up. Yes, we are late. So here comes a break. You're listening to the Sports Spotlight right here on Radio Azad with Rizwan and Manny. We're going to come back right after this break and wrap up this conversation around all the college baseball playoffs going on.
This is Radio Azad, streaming in Dallas, Fort Worth, and all around the world.